should have recorded this already, so I'll start recording on this one. So, okay, I should have recorded that already just to be able to help you out. Send it to you anytime you need assurance. If you are a hairdresser, you're going to work at least 8 hours a day. $100 times 8 is how much? 800. You got it. So $800 times 5 days in a week, which you will work at least 5 days a week. I wouldn't work 6, I wouldn't work 7. The reason why is because you need 2 days off to be able to recover. 800 times 5 is how much? 4,000. 4,000 divided by 2 is how much? 2,000. 2,000 times 50 weeks in a year is how much? $100,000 a year. If you have 8 guests a day, you do 8 guests a day, 5 days a week, you make 4,000. 4,000 at 50% commission is going to be 2,000. 2,000 times 50 weeks in a year with 2 weeks off with your family is $100,000. Your choice. If you want to work 4 days a week, all you have to do is 10 guests a day. Would you be willing to do an extra 2 if you got an extra day off? Yes. Imagine if I gave you a briefcase of $100,000 and I said, for the next year, 50 weeks in this year, if every single day you have 8 guests and they each spend $100, you can have this briefcase. But if ever one day goes by where you don't have 8 guests to sit down in a chair, get a haircut and a highlight for $25 and $75 with $100 total, I'm going to take the briefcase back. What would you be willing to do to go and get that 8th person if it was at the end of your shift and you didn't have that 8th person? What would you be willing to do? My question is, why aren't you doing it now? Because some people say, if I had, then I would. No. You will if you would. You'll be able to have it if you just do it. If you book every one of these people, 8 times 5 is how much? 40. So that means in 1 week you'll do 40 guests. If you book them on the 6-week mark, 40 times 6 is what? 240. All you need is 240 in Birmingham, Alabama. 240 people to spend $100 with you every 6 weeks, and you will make $100,000 a year. Find 240 people that fall in love with you and be willing to invest $100 every 6 weeks. Every person in this room has wasted $100 in the last 6 weeks, I guarantee you. Raise your hand if you have not wasted $100 in the last 6 weeks. Raise your hand. Not one of you. If you drink Starbucks, you waste money because you could drink Senka. You don't even know what Senka is. The reason why, because you need to go to the store, get you a big-ass bucket of Senka, and it's 1 scoop. You won't have the cup to be cool, or you can just go to Starbucks and just get a cup. It's free. Put it in so your friends won't look at you like, oh, he ain't got Starbucks. If you drink Starbucks, you're wasting money. You smoke, you waste money. You eat dessert like we did last night, you're wasting money because you don't actually need dessert. It's not one of the food groups. I think it's one of the food groups, but it's not really one. Stay with me here. $100,000. You guys got that? Yes? Perfect. Awesome. On to the next one. So, if you guys write down getting started, it goes right with your question. Okay? So, we're going to go rapid fire on this one if you guys are okay. Number 1, spring cleaning. You would spring clean your house. What do? You take out all the stuff they don't like, and then you try and fill your house back up. The bad thing about spring cleaning is once you clean, if you don't know what's going back into your house, you will fill it back up with the same crap that you had in it before. How many of you guys have ever spring cleaned your purse? And then 2 weeks later, what you got in it? A lot of crap. It's the same as what it was before, right? What you want to do is before you do spring cleaning, you want to know what you're going to replace it with. So before you go and clean out your life, know what you're going to replace it with. How many of you guys ever broke up with a man, then got lonely, and then went back to his sorry ass because you were just lonely, not because he was the man for you?
That's true.
Know where you're going to go and know what you want before you let him go. And I'm not saying you need to have another man. I'm saying you need to have another mentality. That way you're not going to be lonely because you're going to be able to set yourself up. Maybe it's that you have a bunch of books. Maybe it's that you go to a couple seminars, whatever it is. But that you know what you want in your life before you take something out. Because when you take something out, there's going to be a gaping hole. And you know what? Most of us would just be like, it's a gaping hole. Let me just go ahead and fill it with anything, the first thing that comes around. How many of you guys ever broke up with a man and then dated the same dude, but he happened to have another name? There's a couple in this one. You guys will write them down. Number 1, social media. You're going to do some spring cleaning in your social media. You're going to look at your Instagram. You're going to look at your Facebook. You're going to look at your Twitter. And if someone was to judge you, not on meeting you, but just on your social media, what would it say? What would that ad be? If it ran at the Super Bowl, during the Super Bowl, your commercial of just your social media hit the screen, what would you be selling? If it's not what you would want to be selling, then change it. Stop putting stuff up there that you don't want people to see. Or stop living like you can't take a picture of it and show the world. I grew up on gangster rap. I love me some gangster rap. Had a tough time, though, because I had a daughter. So I grew up on gangster rap. Yeah, I'll shoot you in the face. Yeah, right? And I ain't going to shoot nobody in the face. But when I'm in the car by myself, yeah, that's how I do it. You know, don't cross me. Cut me off, I will blast you, right? That's what I'm thinking while I'm driving, and then I have to get out. But I had to learn this because I have a daughter. She's 5 years old. And when my daughter, I would be getting after her in my car, lean back, yeah, what's up now? And then my daughter would get in the car, and it was straight to Mickey Mouse Club. Then I had to think about it because I was like, oh, I'll make sure that I have my tunes when she's not in, my tunes when she's in. Then I had to start thinking about it. If there's two different tunes, there's a reason why I ain't listening in front of my daughter. So I just don't need to be listening to it. And it's tough. I'm not saying that it's perfect, but it's tough. Next one. Friends and family. You got friends and family that support you? Absolutely keep them in your life. Doesn't mean you're going to get rid of family. It just means you have boundaries. There's places that I don't go with my mom. There's places that I don't go with certain friends. And I won't let them talk about certain things because I know how they feel about it and I know their negativity. So I won't even go there. So I create a boundary. We're cool until you get to here. Boundary. Boundaries are healthy in your life. Doesn't mean you're going to get rid of your family. You're always going to love them. They're always going to be there. I'm not saying the same about friends because some people that you think are your friends are not really your friends because they just want you to be what they want you to be. Who you trying to be? Why y'all dressed in black, talking different kind of language, talking about a visionary? I know who you really are. And you get rid of those people because they don't want you to become who you can be. I got a core group of friends in my life that never made fun of this industry. And they could have. 20 years ago, it wasn't that popular for a guy to get in this industry. It's a little bit more popular now. People talk about, wow, it's so cool, you're an artist. Oh, yeah. But back then, they were like, oh, really? 20 years ago, it was a lot different. People didn't talk about the things they talk about now. But my friends supported it. And it was great because I surrounded myself with people who are constantly telling me that I could. If you got people in your life that are telling you that you can't, put boundaries. Now, I had one guy come up to me after a seminar one time and he's like, hey, my wife is not supporting me. What should I do? He wanted me to say, get rid of her. I was like, I looked at him, I was like, work it out. You made a commitment, you got to work it out. If you're married, you're married. If you ain't married, you ain't married. And I ask this all the time. I say, how many married people in the room? They raise their hand. I say, how many single people in the room? Not as many people raise their hand. If you ain't married, you ain't married. And if you say, it's like we're married, it's just the same. No, it's not. I'm a man. I know. Until I was married, I wasn't married. And I love it because, honestly, guys, we could dupe you women. Because we could say, why do I need a piece of paper to show you that I love you? Because a man needs to be committed before his ass will perform. Let me let you behind the curtain. If I could sit and play Xbox all day, get fat and nasty, and just do nothing, I would do it. But I can't because I got kids and I got a wife, and I got a wife that looks at me and expects me to perform at a certain level. That's the only reason why I perform. I won't perform because I want to perform. Guys don't do that. Guys perform because we have to. You want to know why guys don't treat you the way that they should or they used to? Is because you don't expect it of us. The less and less that we did, the more and more that you dropped your expectation, and then we said, shit, if she ain't expecting me to open the door, I don't need to open the door. If she doesn't expect me not to cuss around her, I don't have to cuss around her. If she doesn't expect me to do those things, but you got to keep the bar high. You imagine if you go to Disneyland right now, there's an admission at Disneyland. It's like $85, $90 to get into Disneyland. Do you think the lady at Disneyland would look at you and say, when you got there and you said, look, I'm a really, really nice person. I want to go to Disneyland, but I ain't got $85, $90. Do you think that you could help me out because I'm a really nice person? That person at Disneyland would be like, I think you're awesome, but there's an admission. It's $90. If you have it, you can go in. If not, then you can't. I think you need to think about your life that way. If you got the admission, if that person has the admission, if they have the ability to be able to pay the admission into your life, then they can, and if not, then they won't. But you need to set standards before you get emotional. Because how many of you had a thought process in your mind of what you were going to live like when you were 5 years old? My daughter's 5 right now, and she seriously thinks that there's going to be a guy on a white horse ride up, and he's going to be a prince. She's the princess. We're going to live in a castle. But if she's the princess, guess who's the king? And she has that thought process. But as we go along, we get more jaded, and we start to just accept things. Oh, okay, that's not exactly what I wanted, but it's kind of. And how many of us have ever got into relationships that way, where it wasn't exactly what we wanted, but you know what, I could fix him. I could make a couple adjustments and he could be just exactly what I would like to be, but not really, but kind of. Because he's really nice and he says nice things to me when we're alone. He doesn't act well in front of my friends, and we don't get along when other people are around, but when we're together, there's nothing like it. The reason I say that, because I've been in relationships like that. Create boundaries. Next one, relationships, that goes right along with it. That's going to be a little easier, honestly. If they don't support you and you're not married to them, cut them off immediately. Get unemotional about it. Think about this. Think about if you could just save $10,000 a year for the next 10 years, you'd have $100,000 in the bank. And think if someone was taking away $10,000 a year from you because they were stopping you from focusing on what you were doing. Over 10 years, you're not going to have that $100,000 in the bank. Is it worth it? Because they're cute for $100,000 over the next 10 years? No, it's not. Just get rid of them immediately. If they're not supporting you, they're not going to support you. It's not going to get better if you get married. It won't. It won't. When you get married, all marriage is a big-ass magnifying glass. It will magnify every single challenge that you have in your relationship right now. It will magnify it 100 times if you get married. That's what happens. Marriage is good when it's with the right person. I'm very fortunate. I'm very fortunate that I had a first marriage and that it didn't work out that well. And I'm in a marriage now that honestly my wife supports me in every single thing that I do. This woman is absolutely phenomenal. And she tells me, you know what? You can do it. I believe in you. I think that you're amazing. I think that you're great. Push at it. I know we're away from each other right now, but I know you're working hard and you're working hard for our family. Do you think that's kind of cool to wake up to? Yes. And it's available for every single one of you willing to hold out for it. Next one, as far as personal. Get your personal stuff taken care of. Spring cleaning. Before you even apply for a job, get your personal stuff in line. Honestly, if you got challenges like your dad didn't hug you enough, or you know what I'm saying, like you got challenges, whatever it is, we all got challenges. We got crazy. How many of you guys are crazy? Raise your hand. The people who don't have their hand are crazy because you think you're not crazy, right? Because we're all crazy. We all got stuff. We all got crap, right? So we all got personal stuff. We all got personal issues. Whatever it is, deal with it before you come in and apply. The reason why, because if you come in with personal issues, I got personal issues too. You don't know them. Why? Because I'll never tell you. Because in my mind, it's 70 and sunny all the time. 70 and sunny is not, oh, I'll fake it till I make it. No, I ain't faking nothing. I'm just falling in love with my circumstances exactly where it is. And when people ask me how I'm doing, it's unbelievable. Because even if I'm having a shitty day, it's unbelievably shitty. Make sure that you get that personal side taken care of. Because honestly, you go to apply for a job, a lot of you will not get the job because the personal stuff is going on in your life. Imagine if you're going to do a highlighter, you're going to do a shampoo, and I've been in this situation. Where I'm going to do a highlighter, going to do a shampoo, I can't even focus. I'm like, hey, how you doing? What's your name? Casey, how are you doing today? I want to be able to highlight your hair. Can you hold on for 1 second? I run back in the back, get on my phone and text and be like, hey girl, just want to let you know, I haven't texted you in like 5 minutes, but I want you to know that I'm not thinking about anybody else. Okay, here we go, Casey. Thank you so much for coming in. I'd like to be able to do a highlight, but can you wait on for a second? I'm going to go mix some color. Oh, I was away for 2 seconds that time, but I don't want you to know that girl sitting in the chair, she don't mean nothing to me because you are my number one. Casey, I think that you're awesome. Can you hold on for 1 more second? I know I was away for another 30 seconds, but I just wanted to see if you had called because maybe my phone was out of service in that 30 seconds and see if you're okay. You okay? I'm okay. All right, I love you more than you know. All right, I'm back. I've been in that situation. You know what it did? It took my focus off of what I needed to be able to do. Take care of your personal stuff before you even apply. No need to apply at a place anywhere if your personal stuff ain't in line. Next one is financial. If you got debt in your life, it's like weight on your shoulders. I'm not saying that you're going to be able to erase your debt,
But I'm saying if you got credit cards, what you want to do is take the smallest credit card. And you want to pay as much as you can to that smallest credit card. And you knock that smallest credit card out, you'll feel a sense of relief. And then what you do is you name the second one. And you go after that. Do not pay the minimum or a little bit more than the minimum on all of them. You'll never pay them off. Choose the smallest, knock it out, go to the next smallest, knock it out, get the debt out your life. When you don't have debt, that is the most freeing feeling that you'll ever have. Robert's got to take off here in a second too, because he's got a couple of things that he's got to be able to take care of. I want you to give this guy a huge, 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 huge round of applause. There's very few people, there's very, very, very few people that you get a chance to be able to have a personal relationship, and you get to, like a personal, like he's a mentor as far as personal, but he's also a mentor as far as business. Sometimes you choose one or the other. And when I look at the guy, and I look what he's been able to do, and I look at his family and what he does with his family, I just think that it's amazing. And it's not because he's perfect, and he'll always tell me that. He'll always tell me the things that he used to do and all the stuff. But you know what? He just constantly wants to make it better, which I think is amazing. So I know you got to get going here in a little bit, but I love you, man. And
I'm fixing to leave.
okay.
Y'all, this man's incredible. Take in all the information you can from him. He started right where y'all are. And Houston. Isn't that amazing? And the thing is, you've got people like him. We didn't. Right? I love all of you. I got to run. I'll see y'all later.
So with the financial, if you got, how many of you guys got debt? All of us do? School's not debt. School's an investment. Debt is that pair of pants that you shouldn't have bought that you put on a credit card that you said, you know what, I can pay it in 5 easy installments. Okay? Any debt you have in your life, if you're single, any debt you have in your life is your own fault. It's nobody else's. If you got kids, you're going to have debt. It's just one of those things. But I tell you, there's nothing more freeing than getting your debt gone. That weight on your shoulder is probably the heaviest weight that you'll ever carry, and you'll never be able to be 100% of yourself if you are carrying a ton of debt. Because what you'll be saying is, Casey, can you do a highlight today? The reason why, because I need to pay my car payment. You won't say that to her, but you'll be thinking it. I just need to pay my car payment. I need to be able to take care of my children, and I need to be able to do something. So you need to get a highlight today. I don't really care how your hair looks when it's done, but I need you to get a highlight because I need you to spend more money with me because I am broke and I am stressed out because my rent is coming. As opposed to saying, I think you're absolutely amazing. I love your hair, but I tell you, if I cut it, it wouldn't look as good as if I highlighted it. So I would be willing, honestly, it's just an ego thing for me. Let me color your hair today. Even if I take care of it, I believe in it that much. But I'm going to walk over here and let you think about that color and think about how great your haircut would look with that color. I'll give you about 5 minutes to think about it, and I'll go over here. It's a completely different mindset. When I don't have any debt and I don't have to have it, I'd like you to have it, but if you don't want it, that's no big deal to me. We got to get ourselves to that point. The last one is spiritual. I'm not here to tell you what to believe, but honestly, if you believe in the chair, worship the chair. Make sure that you worship the chair all the time. But be locked into it and have that and understand that there's got to be something bigger than yourself because honestly, like it's a lonely world if you think that all this is about is just success. This is just about, getting more money. Because when you get more money, you know what you're going to have? More bills. That's what's going to happen. And you're going to adjust your lifestyle and you go through it that way. If there's not something larger than you, you're going to have a challenge. So find that spiritual side of you. It's kind of cool in the South because I can tell you what mine is. Mine is Jesus Christ. Now, when I'm on the West Coast, I can't say that. I got to say, well, just believe whatever you want to believe. In the Bible Belt, I'm allowed to say it. It's kind of cool. They won't kick me out. In California, they'll kick me out. They'll be like, oh, well, what about Buddha? Well, I don't worship him. But if you worship Buddha, you worship Jesus, you worship the chair, you worship a candle, whatever it is, I don't even care. Just make sure that you're committed to it, locked onto it, and you do it. If it's the chair, you give it to Alibaba's. You do whatever you can. Oh, chair, you're the greatest. Here it is. But be locked into it and realize that there's something bigger than you. Because if you don't, guys, it's going to be a lonely road, and it's going to be an empty road. And no matter how many weeks you ever have of high dollars, no matter how many hair shows you ever do, no matter how many cars you drive, no matter how many watches you have on your wrist, no matter how many, whatever it is, it won't mean nothing to you if there's not a greater purpose in it. Nothing. So all that's even before you apply for a job. Let's bring